All right, Algebra 2, welcome back. We're getting to the end. We're getting there. We're almost there. We have this week of new content. We have next week of new content. And then the week after that will be the final week of the school year. And we're going to be just kind of reviewing and going over some things, doing some wrap-up work for that. So, kind of what this week we're going to be doing. We're going to be looking at inverse functions. We're going to move away from quadratics. We've worked a lot with quadratics recently. We're moving away from that. We're working on inverse functions. So today, tomorrow, there are going to be videos out. That's Monday and Tuesday. Please comment on them either to my, send a comment to my email, or you can comment directly on Canvas or on the YouTube video, just so I can mark that you watched it and that you can get credit for it. So that's today and tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, you got some work to do out of the packet. Thursday is a makeup day or catch-up day. Work on things that you have not completed or that you have missed. And then on Friday, social emotional day, please be in touch with your social worker or your behavior specialist to talk with them about what's going on. There's a lot going on. It's just not COVID right now. There's a lot of racial tension. There's a lot of unrest, civil unrest right now, and we'd love to hear from you. See how you're doing with it. See how you feel about it. See if you have thoughts on it. Normally, if we were in school, we'd be talking about this a lot. Okay, and we'd be talking our way through it, and we'd be working our way through all of the stuff that's going on out there right now. So please reach out if you need anything or if you just want to talk. So to the work today, learning objective students will be able to find the inverse of a function. Okay, I know you hear that. You're like, what is the inverse of a function? We've worked with them before at different times, but let's take a look at what function notation is. Or the notation of an inverse function. So we know that we've used f of x equals, and that's function f of x, and that's kind of function notation. So the way I note, or the way I do that for an inverse function is instead of having f of x, it's f negative 1 x, and that negative 1 means the inverse. So f negative 1 x means the inverse of function f of x. And to find the inverse of a function, all we need to do is we need to switch the x and y values. So wherever there's an x value, we put a y. Where the y values are, we make it x. So we're gonna make, we have an example over here, and we want to find the inverse of function f of x. So f of x equals negative 3x plus 6. So I have steps I want to go over. So the first step that I want to do when finding the inverse of function is replace f of x with y. Okay? Because f of x just means y. So y equals negative 3x plus 6. All right, so that's step one. I'm just going to put a 1 next to it so we know. Step 2, now we're going to swap, we're going to interchange our x and our y variables, okay? 2, we're going to interchange x and y. X and y. And that just means wherever where the y value is, I'm going to make it an x. So 2x equals negative 3, and where the y is I put an x, and where the x is I put a y, plus 6. You see that? That used to be a y, now it's an x. That used to be an x, now it's a y. 3, I'm going to solve for my y. So I want to get this equation y equals. So I'm going to solve for y. So to solve for y, what I have to do here is, first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of the 6 that's over here and bring it to the other side. Okay? So I'm just going to move this here. So minus 6. I have x minus 6 is equal to negative 3y. And then I want to divide by my -3. I have x minus 6 over -3 equals y. Okay, great. And then I have one more step here. Step 4. My fourth step is going to be just to replace the y with the f negative 1x. And that tells me that this is an inverse function. So this is all step 3. We'll just kind of go like this. And then 4 over here. So I'm just taking the y, f negative 1x, equals the rest of this, x minus 6 over -3. And that is my answer. That's the inverse. This right here is the inverse of that. So here we go. These are inverse of one another. Inverse, okay? All right. Let's take a look at another one here. Example 2. I'm going to erase this. This will be example 2. All right, so example 2, we want to find the inverse of f of x equals x plus 8 over 2. F of x equals x plus 8 over 2. All right, so there's my function. I want to find the inverse of this function. I take a look at my steps. My first step here is replace the f of x with y. So 1, y equals x plus 8 over 2. Okay, great. 2. Now I want to interchange my x and my y. So wherever I see a y, I put an x. Wherever I see an x, I put a y. So here we go. There's a y. X equals y plus 8 over 2. 3, I'm going to solve. Okay, I'm going to solve for my y. I want my y all alone. So the first thing I want to do to solve this is I'll multiply both sides by the 2 to get rid of the 2 from the denominator here. 2, 2. So I'm left with 2x equals y plus 8. And then subtract 8, subtract 8. All right, that cancels there. And I'm left with 2x minus 8 is equal to y. And so that's step 3. All this right here. And then the fourth piece, I want to just replace my y with an f negative 1x so we know it's an inverse function. So we have f negative 1 x equals 2x minus 8. 2x minus 8. All right. And that is my final step, and that will do it for today. So we took these functions, we found the inverse of the functions by first making sure that we had an x and a y variable. Then we switched, we flip-flopped the x and the y variable, and then we solved for y. And when we solved for y, we were then given what the inverse function of our original function was. So if you have questions on this, please reach out. I'd love to hear from you. And if not, please just comment on the video, either on YouTube or on Canvas, or shoot me an email so I can know that you watched the video. All right? I hope you all have a good afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow.